having extremely crappy internet service. So we're going to struggle through this for being patient. I have Sherri Lehr on with me. She may be ending up doing most of the talking because I have no idea if you're going to be able to see me or if I'm going to stay connected. Hi, Sherri. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I would love. I had your daughter a couple of weeks ago, Danielle, on the show, and it was fabulous. So she shared a little bit about the work that you guys are doing together. But I would like to hear about your story.
Okay.
If you'd like to share that with us.
Sure. I guess, from the beginning. So, I didn't start getting into this
from
stuff.
The beginning.
Okay. I was like 42 years old back in 2009 when I always tell people I was shoved onto this path by, 3 big factors in my life. One of them was my health. I was very sick with many different illnesses and conditions. The second was I lost my job because of those illnesses and conditions. I was in the hospital a lot. And then Danielle, I was looking for answers for her because my family was asking me to get her tested for autism. And I just knew that I didn't, even before I was fully aware of any of this, I even knew that, no, I'm not going to the medical field for this. I just knew mother's intuition, it was just something different, which if she were tested, they would place her on the spectrum. But the number one thing was my health. And they had diagnosed me on top of all the other issues I had with prediabetes. And that was the wake-up call. And I just said, oh, no way. And I don't know what it was in me at that time that knew I could say no to that, but I did. And I just started looking because I didn't know anything about any of this. I mean, I knew what acupuncture was, which is what I looked into. I went on the internet and I did a search for acupuncture, and Reiki just popped up on my screen. And that's where I started, was with Reiki. And you
never heard of it before?
No, I had never heard of it. I had never heard of energy healing, or not that I wasn't a spiritual person, but I was still in the religion, part of it. But even at that point, I was having trouble going to church because of, things that, the sermons spoke about, and it just didn't feel right to me at that point. But because that's what we're taught, I thought it was the right thing to do. So when I say, I was shoved by those 3 big things happening all at once.
Yeah. Perfect storm. Spirit has a way of getting your attention, right?
Yes. Danielle was supposed to, when she came in, that was supposed to wake me up, and she scared me.
Yeah.
And something, once I got onto this path and I started learning what this stuff was, I'm like, oh my God, she was communicating with me and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So, she did come in to, wake me. She came in when, it was time for me to, get going. So I, go ahead. I think you froze again.
Anything?
Oh, okay. So
I'm listening.
Okay. And, it started with Reiki. And I couldn't find anybody where I lived that did Reiki. I drove from Kearney to Columbia to get Reiki. And after I was going every week.
Was that to receive the Reiki?
To receive it. Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't find anybody in the area that I lived in at the time, which was Kearney. Actually, I lived in Kearney all my life up until now. We're now living in Glen Burnie for the past year and a half.
Mhm.
So, but, you know, back then I couldn't find anybody in that area. So I found somebody. And even the first session, I was just shocked at how good I felt after the session. And I
Yeah.
experienced some things during it, but I didn't know how to describe it or didn't know what it was. So I kept going. I went,
Did
you know,
you
I kept
did you
going.
end up crying? Because I think that first Reiki session I ever had many years ago, I think I ended up crying because there was such a
No,
release.
no, I didn't cry with that person, but I did when I found the person in the Perry Hall area that I started going to. She was a soul coach, a life coach. She did actually basically, you know, she did then what I'm doing now, you know, connecting to spirit, doing the life coaching part of it and the energy healing. It was when I started receiving or working with her is when I had the huge releases and the crying and all of that during my sessions. But just with Reiki, I didn't experience the crying or emotional part of it, but I felt the physical release, the physical pain. I was in 24/7 pain, and I wouldn't take the medicines that the
Wow.
doctors wanted me to take. And
Yeah. Smart.
after 5 weeks, the constant pain was gone, but I was still having flare-ups of,
Yeah.
you know, I had several different, I'm not going to go over the conditions because they don't matter. But
Yeah.
after the 5 weeks, the constant pain was gone. I had a lot of relief. But after a year, you know, I learned how to do Reiki myself. You know, I was attuned as a master in July of 2010. No, in April of 2010. And then I started my business in July of 2010, and I was doing Reiki and sound healing and crystal therapy. And that's what I started with, and Violet Flame, because I was going to Violet Flame group things, and I received the Violet Flame activation. And you don't really need any of that for Violet Flame. Everybody has access to it, but that was the biggest tool that helped me the most. For 2 years, I meditated, did self-healing, and did prayers every day for 4 hours. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. And after 1 year, all of the conditions were gone. And all the pain was gone.
Now, when you talk about the Violet Flame, is that Saint Germain Violet Flame?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
Mm-hmm. There's many different sources of, not sources, there's many different ways to use the Violet Flame. You know, a lot of people just, you know, meditate with it, or, you know, bring it in for certain, you know, things. I do what's called the decreeing. I don't know if you know what that is. So decreeing, decreeing
Please share.
is very specifically worded, not quite prayer, but they're, you know, very high vibrationally written decrees, statements, affirmation. It's more than affirmation, but you speak it out, you know, using the voice chakra, you're speaking it out into the world. You're speaking it out into, you know, the energy, out into existence. And it's more than requesting, it's commanding. And it's very powerful. And I had an office. I have always had my own office. I had one up in Timonium, and I used to do group stuff. I did a lot of group stuff there, and I did a lot of Violet Flame classes, Violet Flame, you know, guided meditations and decreeing sessions. And that was always what was the most popular. for me, for people, to come to the Violet Flame stuff, because that's what helped them the most.
Yeah, and I would think that there isn't that many classes around that do that.
Yeah. You don't know any?
No, I don't. I mean, I had a little bit of experience with working with Violet Flame when I was in Florida. But since then, you are like the second person that I've heard, and that was 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Has mentioned it and work with it.
Oh, wow, yeah. I work with it regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
wonderful. That's
I
wonderful.
haven't.
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, are you teaching those groups now? Or
I'm
are you
getting
showing
ready
people how to work with them?
I'm getting ready to schedule some Violet Flame group events. We've got our first one scheduled. It's at the end of June. I haven't created the event for it yet, but it's the last weekend in June. So we have scheduled that. And I do have a meetup site. It's called Pure Energy. And I've got all of my events listed there. So as soon as I get that one done, it'll be up there. And my web page, my website has a page for events. And I don't list the events there, but I have my Pure Energy meetup site listed there to click on and to go to my site. Because it's a lot of work. And having
and Tiffany is putting your website up for people that are interested, so they'll know where to go. Do the events, are they all in person, or is this something that people can do? Do you do it virtual?
Oh, I can do virtual sessions. I actually use Violet Flame in private healing sessions too. Nice. It actually comes in almost every session.
And Mike, I think I keep getting lost.
Yeah, you do.
Internet. Yeah. So you keep using the Violet Flame in all your healing sessions?
Yeah, it comes in. Yeah, in most of my healing sessions, private healing sessions, and I do use it purposely because it transmutes. Okay, so I see that Mary just is not up on the screen, so I'll just continue with describing some things that the Violet Flame does and some other things that I do that I have, and none of this when I started this path, I didn't go looking for any of this. It all just showed up when I was supposed to learn something new, because I work with over 18 different modalities. And the one that I use to basically start with is shamanism. I have received the Menike rights. So, and because that's how I connect to spirit. So I'm connecting through my higher self to, whoever I'm working with, their higher self, or if it's a group, that collective, higher self. And, the one thing I always explain to people, how I work, I connect through that channel to receive the guidance that I need to bring through what they need with their, with the clients or the group's intentions for healing. It's not me, Sherri, saying, well, this is what I think you need. It's I connect through, and I never know what I'm going to be guided to. But Violet Flame,
that's what it works with doing readings. From spirit is what's needed. So I'm sure healing works the same.
So that was a very broken up, so I didn't get what you were saying. Uh-oh, now I'm on here by myself. So what the Violet Flame does basically is transmuting energy, where, when a lot of healers work with, their healing, they send it to the light, they send, what they're releasing to the light, they send it to the earth. I send it all into the violet flame. What the violet flame does is it transmutes that energy. And by transmutation, it is purifying the negative energy that we're sending into it into a positive, higher vibration. And it is sending it back to the person who is receiving the healing. And here's Mary's back up one here.
Yeah, well, I'm on my phone now, so I won't be able to read the chat, and hopefully my phone will stay connected. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for running the show, Sherri. You're doing a fabulous job.
So I don't know if you heard any of what I was saying about how, I work with the violet flame, but I use it in every
I lost
session.
you on the shamanism. We were talking about the shamanism, and that's how you connect to spirit. And that is very similar to the way we connect to spirit, or I connect with doing my work with the counseling and the readings that I do. We are all connected. Our work is all for the highest best. So it's wonderful. I connected with Danielle, Danny. I could tell she's such a bright light, and then getting to know you, that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you are here to bring people to their highest best, and that's what we're supposed to do. So continue with what you were saying.
Okay, so with the violet flame, it transmutes the energy instead of sending it to the light or sending it to the earth. It's purifying it, and then it transmutes the negative energy that we send into it, but then it sends it back to the person in the purified form. So you're not just receiving healing and releasing negative energies and lower density energies, you're also receiving it back purified. So that's kind of like what I call a double whammy, which is, I do use it in every session, but not to the extreme, because I work with so many different modalities and different things work for different people. Every person is unique, and I never know what's going to come in. So I work with, I do angel healing, accidental alignment, Melchizedek healing. I am a Melchizedek priestess. And that just,
Could you explain that?
So Melchizedek is that energy. Okay, so he wasn't really a person, but the being that everybody, that knows or has heard of Melchizedek, because a lot of people have not. He was the original Christed being that came to this planet to help with the beginnings of the raising us back up in consciousness after we fell to, a certain depth. He was a high priest. He was a king, but he wasn't in physical form, but people could still see him. So he was basically, he is the master of the ascended masters. So he lived among the people, but he wasn't of a physical form. And he created a lot of the works that, I can't sit here and remember all the different things that he, started, a lot of, he put the ideas into these prophets and ascended masters who, finished these works. But it's the highest frequency energy that we have to work with in this dimension, which is 12th dimensional energies. So basically, I'm channeling that 12th dimensional energy. It depends on who it comes through for. It doesn't come through for everybody. It's a little too high of a frequency. And especially for people who are just starting their path, it's a little a little overwhelming for them. But again, I connect and whatever comes in for them. And I've had the Melchizedek energy come in a few times for people that are just starting this stuff out. And it's like when I feel that come, like, whoa, why is this coming in so soon? You know, I was at first was questioning that, but I did, you know, I got to the point where I did stop questioning it. It's not for me to question. It's coming in for a reason. So that person must be able to receive it.
Right. It's above you. It's
overwhelming them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because you realize that you are not the healer. You are the conduit of the healing.
Yes.
And you have to allow what comes through to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've never heard of Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Is that?
I do have
Yeah.
a page on my website about the order of Melchizedek. So it gives, you know, information here. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do your sessions, it sounds like you kind of do a mesh of different modalities while working on one person. It's not like you just do straight up Reiki, or it's woven together.
Yes, and
so
actually
it is a powerful punch.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of Reiki anymore.
Yeah.
Because of all the different, you know, modalities that I work with, you know, whatever. And, you know, and like I said earlier, I never went looking for any of this. They all just showed up in my experience, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm going to learn this one. Okay, I guess I'm going to learn this one. And it's just, I call them my quantum healing sessions.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, how we are kind of pushed to where we're supposed to go. And sometimes it takes something great like your health to wake us up, because we're missing the signs along the way, because we're so into just living this linear life that we miss the conversation that spirit is having with us. And
oh, she disappeared again. Okay, so I'll go into some information about some of the other modalities that I work with. You know, there's the angelic light weaving, accidental alignment. I do light language, and light language is not really something that you're taught. Light language is what comes through a channel. It's like speaking in tongues. You know, I know a lot of people have heard about light language nowadays, but you're not trained in it. Mary, can you hear now?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. I was just going over some of the other modalities that I work with.
Keep going. You're doing good.
Okay. Pranic healing. The shamanism, of course. Well, I know there's more, but I'm going blank at the moment. And, you know, I do a lot of the sound healing. You know, I do different types of sound healing, you know, from the shamanic drumming and rattles to the crystal bowls, you know, different things. And there are some things that come into sessions that I have no idea where they're coming from. I don't know what it is. You know, I do light code downloads. I do rainbow body activations. I do nervous system upgrades. You know, it's just, they show me. And I started working with the nervous system with one of my clients. And I know there is a soul contract there for her to be with her, because this is where most of the stuff that has come through me on my, you know, that I've not been trained in have come through is her. And I started working with lightning energy during a storm. And that's when they started. And when I say they, you know, they showed me what this energy was doing, and it was working on the nervous system. So, you know, when that energy comes through, I don't even know what to call it. I mean, because it's not real lightning coming through. It's just the electrical energy of that coming through.
And that makes sense with the nervous system because it is the electrical currents.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wow, that's powerful.
And I didn't
So how
know
did
that before. I didn't know it before I started doing that. But then I looked it up and it's like, okay, yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, that's my medical background. It's the electricity that runs through that pumps the heart. And yeah, I know all that stuff. So how did your client react when you first did that session and that came through?
What I love about this client is it's not every time, but we would see the same things. She stayed quiet because she likes to relax into it and experience it and see all the different stuff that's going on. She sees the same thing I can see, which is amazing. So, but she really felt that when she's like, I was feeling this really like jolting and like gentle jolting, fuzzy feeling running down her body. So I described it well. When the lightning started, I just, for some reason, started channeling that energy and it was coming through. So when she said, oh my God, I saw the lightning. And, because she kept her eyes closed in her session, she saw it in her vision.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that you're not you don't have any fear. And when that stuff happens, you just trust and allow it to flow.
Yep. Just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really interesting. So you still have an office.
Yes.
And you see clients there.
Yes. My office is in Towson currently. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be there, but it's a weird situation. I'm in a historical building in Towson, and it's my building and two buildings, one on either side of me, that are all owned by one person, that they're trying to empty them out because they have sold them to a building developer. And one of the tenants is a law firm. And the law firm's not letting them out of their lease. So
thank goodness for them.
Yeah, for now, because it's the best space I've had, and it's a nice big space.
Yeah, that happens so much with these developers. They come in and they just, they keep building and building, growing and changing. It's all about the almighty dollar. It doesn't matter who they railroad over to get there. It's a shame. Yeah. So do you offer your healing, over the phone or via the internet, or is it all in person?
No, all three. I started doing virtual sessions a couple months ago. Again, this is something that has been being not forced, shoved at me, and it was a resistance. I didn't want to be on video, but now I'm used to it, and I use Google Meets.
Hopefully your internet's better than mine.
I haven't had any problems with it. But I do the virtual.
Yeah, I think I need to change it.
Yeah. And then I've been doing phone sessions. Google Meets. If you have a Google account, whether it's Gmail and I have a Google listing, it's free up to an hour, of course. And I've had some clients that are over an hour, so we just stop that session and restart a new one.
Oh, wow.
It's easy. It's easy to use.
Yeah, I never heard of it. And I have Google, my Google Calendar, and I'm on, my business is listed on Google, but yeah, I need to know about Google Meets. There's so much out there. You're probably younger than me, but it's like that techie stuff is a little bit intimidating because we grew up in a world that didn't have this. So, and
that's why I resisted it. Anything technological is a resistance to me. And I know that's something that I need to get over, which I have in multiple cases. But I've been doing phone sessions. Since
it's like
word.
Since when?
The C word. I don't like saying it. COVID.
Oh,
But
oh, all right. I
had to
know
start
that word.
Yeah, I had to start
Yeah.
doing phone sessions, and some of my clients actually have stayed phone clients because they don't have to travel. They're in the comfort of their own home, and they are experiencing more over the phone than in my office because I can
Yeah.
sit quietly in a meditative state and not be distracted by moving around the table. It's different.
Right. Yeah. And, I think that more and more people are opening to the phone sessions. I do mostly all of my work remotely. And during the 2020 lockdown, I ran a special on Facebook because I was like, all right, I'm sitting here, and I wasn't really doing over the phone sessions at that time. And I did a 20 for 20 ad, 20 minutes for $20. I was so busy and it was so reasonable. And I ended up with so many clients that repeat from that.
Mhm.
And they all, they're all over the phone once they start. And when I counsel, sometimes people that haven't met me in person want to do like the first session through Zoom, and I get that, but usually they would prefer over the phone because they don't even have to get dressed if they don't want to.
Right.
It's
Right.
comfy. You can do
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different world. Everything is shifting and changing, and we have to be adaptable to that constantly. And when we resist, it kind of creates that friction.
It does.
And even us healers, we have our moments, we have our struggles, we have our challenges, like doing a podcast and having a crappy internet connection. That's a major challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But we do what we got to do.
Yeah.
So what is your next event, a live event?
My next live event is Danielle and I are doing a day at my office of mini readings with her, and illuminate. She's talking in the background.
I heard her.
Illuminate Baltimore. We will be exhibitors at Illuminate Baltimore. So she's doing her readings, and Michael and I are doing the quantum healing sessions. So we do them together at the expos. And because of, what he does for a living, he's not home a lot. So when he takes vacations, which is coming up, when we do Illuminate, we have a day where I schedule sessions for him and I to do with clients in my office, which we've, that's out there also. And these are all listed on my meetup site. And I've only got one space left for that day. And we're already, got bookings. Yeah. And it's people that have experienced this at the expos. That's great. Yeah. And then we have.
Do you do a little?
You froze in the middle of that question.
I said, do you do Illuminate Annapolis?
No, I used to go to that one to, just enjoy it. But it's a small one. And so I just never, felt.
Yeah, I don't do either one. Yeah. I don't do either Baltimore or Annapolis, or I've yet to do them. Mm-hmm. I just signed up to do Richmond next weekend. That'll be my first to Richmond. It's only about a 2-hour drive for me, so we'll see how it goes.
Stay in the state. We stay in Maryland.
Yeah, I was just in Pennsylvania last weekend. I go pretty much anywhere I feel moved. Yeah. Do you do Delaware though?
No, haven't done that yet either.
I guess the Frederick and Lewis is a little bit of a drive for you guys.
No, we do Frederick in October.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We I know that.
Yeah.
And Lewis is too far.
Yeah. So, and we
Lu-
do the Columbia also, which is
Yeah.
in July.
Yeah, I don't do that one. I don't do that one. So you're going to do that, and then you're doing the event, the meetup event. I didn't mean to get you off track, but I did. I'm sorry.
The which one?
With you and Danny, the programs that you're starting.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
Danielle and I have a day scheduled. I think it's the 3rd of June, where she's doing mini readings and I'm doing mini healing sessions in my office. So that's also listed on my meetup site. And we did a sound bath, but that's already passed. And we'll be scheduling, more sound
Okay.
baths. We're getting ready to schedule a drum circle. But I got to get the
Fun.
violet flame. A drum
I said that's
circle.
fun.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. And I have some drums that people can use if they don't have their own, but I did many of them in the past. And then, I've got the violet flame group meditation that we have scheduled. I just haven't written it up yet and put it on my meetup site, but that's for the end of June.
Okay. Nice. So you're keeping busy.
Yes. It's, I almost forgot. I just created a mentorship program, an ascension mentorship program. It's a 3-month program. And I just put that out too. Now that's not out on Meetup because it's not an event, but it's on, I have a page for it on my website. It's an ascension 3-month ascension mentorship program. And, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but basically, it's to help people along their ascension path. Some people are, past just receiving the healing. Now they're, I have some very advanced clients who are very advanced spiritually. And, I do coaching with them. But with this program, I don't have a specific booklet or manual that I'm giving people. That is good. I will be giving them handouts and assignments, but it's going to be individualized. All of my work is,
it'll be a one-on-one program, not a group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
because it
basically
is individual.
Yes. And, and as we go along, as we're, again, intuitively guided with, what will help this person the most get to where they want to be on their path.
Right. So since I'm on my phone, I have to ask you, are you looking at the chat?
No, actually, no, I have not been. Am I looking for questions?
Yeah, let's just see what people are saying. Let's check in and say hi to everybody because I didn't even get to say hi. And I know that I'm going to just say hello to everyone. Cover you that way.
And Robin. Let's see. Robert's got a few things in here. Hi, Robert. He's just saying hello to everybody. And Michael, my partner.
Yeah.
Richard.
And Robert, I met, he came to meet me in person at the event in Pennsylvania this past weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any questions. Oh, Danielle commented, violet flame work is essentially energetic recycling. That's
very
Danielle's,
cool.
and it is. It's transmutation. But I already, I already went over that. But I'm sure she commented it as I was saying it, and I wasn't looking at the questions or the comments.
Yeah.
But really,
knowing her, I'm sure she had a lot of comments in there. If she didn't type them in, she was thinking them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's so open. Let's see. Yeah. I don't see any questions. Just people saying hello, how, and
so
yeah.
I'm just gonna, yeah. So I put this out there for Robert because I know Robert, and he has received messages and reading from me. That Ascension program sounds like it might be a good fit for you, Robert. You might want to get together with Sherri and talk to her, because I feel like that'll help you get to your next level.
Okay.
And anyone else out there that is like kind of feeling like they're floating base, because it sounds like Sherri will be able to get you there.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are coming to me with recently. And I do one-on-one. I'm a spiritual life coach and advisor, so I do that on a one-on-one. But okay, this is how I get these ideas when I'm driving by myself.
Or you're given those ideas. That's more like it.
I blank out. And I will, when I'm done receiving this information, or what I'm being shown to do, I come out of it and I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. So yeah, it's just it happens that way.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I know my higher self always has my back, because that's why they do it that way.
Yeah.
Because that's when I'm at the most focused.
So anyone that's listening to this, I know that Tiffany Goldylocks, they put all of Sherri's website and any other links that she had provided us there, so you can reach out to her easily for any of the programs that she has mentioned. Also, the Goldylocks VIP program, if you're interested in that and getting the links for the private shows that they have through the month, you can reach out for that. And if there's any small businesses out there that are interested in sponsorship, you can also contact me, and I'll be happy to send you a link or contact Goldylocks. Then that way you can get your little ad put out with the show that you sponsor. It doesn't necessarily have to be my show. There's a lot of fabulous shows with Goldylocks Productions. And donations are always happily accepted and welcomed, because it helps us keep the show going, and all the shows. And what else do I have to say? Oh, yes. And if you are interested in readings with me or spiritual counseling, you can schedule that right on my website. And with the spiritual counseling, I do the consultation call for free, which you can also schedule on the website. And that's all I have to do with the business end of things, I think. I'm getting a little bit better with that, Sherri. I really am not a commercial type girl, but I like to try to remember to get that stuff out there, because that's, it's really important. And your contact information and what you do, because that's my point. I got into doing this show, and it really is to help others get their voice out there, and give them a platform to share their stories, because so many of us have gone through very similar things. You had your health things that brought you to where you are. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease that brought me to nutrition and fitness and learning those things, which eventually reopened my psychic gifts that I had chose to block for so long. So, and then today I had a conversation with a psychic medium, Jim Beyer, who is going to be a guest. I think it's June 14th. We agreed him on. He and I have a lot in common as far as when we were kids, not fitting in because we were empaths and psychics. We were getting stuff, and it was a struggle. And it's here's to all of us misfits. We really we're the ones that are getting it now. Like you took the hard way of getting here. But I think sometimes the hard lessons, they give us the greatest rewards. because it fully launched you. You know, you really needed to do that. There are things that, you know, I say, why did I not think quicker? Because I wouldn't have, because that's not my personality. I really needed to, you know, hit rock bottom on a couple of different occasions to bring me to where I am today. And it's nice. And I'm wondering if you feel the same way, that the more you share your raw, authentic self, the better your work goes.
It is, because it's our experience that help us to, you know, help others with what they're dealing with. And right now, one of the biggest things that people are coming to me with, no, they're not coming to me for this, but these are, you know, statements that they're making. They feel lonely because they can't hang around the people that they used to be able to hang around, because they can't tolerate the energy, or they just, you know, don't resonate with them anymore. And a lot of the, you know, spiritual people or higher frequency people are starting, you know, to get to that point where they feel lonely because they don't have anybody that they can talk to about this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the more, you know, I can get out there, and I'm actually, Danielle and I were talking about this earlier today, starting a discussion group, just having people come in a discussion group, you know, and just people can talk about whatever they want to talk about, and just be with like-minded people, because we had those communities before COVID, and they're gone now. So I was like, okay,
there is really a need for that. And it was just like last week, I was thinking about doing like a special private group on Facebook or something, where for that exact reason, because you do have that period of time that you feel like you're out on a ledge alone. You don't know where to go, because the person you were, you know, a year or 2 years ago is not who you are today. So there's things that you did and connected with no longer resonate. And that goes along with, you know, people in your lives, and you know, the people in your lives, relationships kind of die off organically as you rise up, and they don't. And that's where you feel you get in that very lonely, what do I do next stage. So I'm going to ask you to look at the chat, because I don't know if the show goes from when we started or when the time is 5 o'clock. I don't know, because Tiffany will put on there like, thanks a lot, nice show, when we're getting close to the end. I feel like I'm in the dark. You talk about being alone. So we must go for the full hour.
Not yet. Yeah, she just posted my Facebook page. But yeah, she hasn't said that yet. But yeah, and you talk about relationships.
Okay, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good for it. She's asking if we want to go till 5:10. Do we want to go?
I don't know. Do you want to go to 5:10?
I don't have a problem with that.
Do you have? Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep it rolling.
Okay. So
yeah, I didn't know if we were getting kicked off. That's why I asked.
So Rainbow
Relation.
Robin just made a Robin's my words are going together now. Robin's Cosmic Soul Food just commented, I would call myself the rainbow sheep of the family. I was full of cosmic energy. Now the LGBT has took over the rainbow meaning.
Yeah. I love Robin. She has an awesome show. If you haven't watched it, catch her. She's Tuesday night. Yeah. So you were starting to say something about relationships.
So, okay. I had gotten to that point in my previous relationship where I was growing and growing and growing, and he wasn't moving any. He wasn't. I mean, and he was a spiritual person too, and that's how we met. But he wasn't willing to do the work. And I mean, we were very open about it to each other. And I always told him, I'm like, I am not stopping for anybody or anything.
Right.
So, you know, we ended the relationship. We're still friends. We are still friends today. And he has come to Michael and I for healing. So,
Yeah.
but with Michael, we were both at the same place when we met, which made it, that was a very different type of relationship. And neither one of us were looking for a relationship, because I was at that point where I'm good right now. I've had a relationship, been in a relationship my entire adult life. And, you know, I ended the other relationship in a really good place. And I wasn't looking for one. And Michael was getting over his last relationship and he was in a good place. And we were at a holistic event and we had seen each other a couple times, but then at one events, you know, we were all in a huggy group and we hugged, and both of us felt something. And to me, it felt like an activation. And that's what I tell people. And, you know, it's, you know, a relationship of, it's a cohesive, we're both working in different areas of our spirituality, but we're, you know, because he is also ordained as a Melchizedek priest. So we both have that higher frequency, you know, within the energies that we channel. So, but yeah, it's when you're not looking for it, it'll appear.
Yeah, that's so true. So were you both already ordained when you met?
He was ordained.
Interesting.
He was ordained back in 1993 or
wow.
6. Michael, are you there? What year were you ordained? But I was ordained in 2019. So he was ordained way before me. So yeah. And he definitely had that, you know, Archangel Michael Melchizedek energy about him. So, and it's funny. I'm going to say this I've told him this, so this isn't anything he hasn't heard, but Danielle,
you're not letting any secrets out.
Oh, and Danielle also commented that he knew what he was doing by getting on her good side first, because they were friends first, Danielle and Michael.
Oh yes, she did tell me that. She did.
Yeah, they were doing things at Reiki shares, and I wanted Danielle to get experience with other people without me present. I wanted her to be her own, you know, I didn't want her to be doing things just because I'm doing it. I wanted her to learn her own thing. And
you're
that's
a good
where
mama.
we met. So it was 1993. Michael was ordained in 93.
Okay.
So
long time.
Yeah. So I forget where I was, what I was saying at that point.
About the relationships and meeting the people at the same frequency. And
yeah, it's just, you know, when you're not looking for it, and, you know, that's one thing that a lot of people come to me for too, is they want to heal themselves so they can find a relationship. It's not about finding a relationship. It's about finding yourself.
Right. I say that all the time. When you are right with yourself and everything else is in place, then the relationship will come in. And now here is a single woman saying that, Sherri. I haven't been in a relationship in quite some time. But there was a purpose for it. You know, there were a lot of things I needed to accomplish with my business. And I realized that that my relationship was with the clients for now. You know, this is what I needed to do. But I am starting to shift. I just had a reading, and this is one of the things that came up. And I said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm starting to feel ready. I'm starting to open up to receive that type of intimate personal relationship. But for a long time, I was like, I don't have time for that. I got other stuff to do, and that's what I've been doing because, I needed to get all this into place first. And I still have a couple of things that I'm working on, but it's not that I wouldn't be able to welcome somebody into my life. But, Spirit knows when the time is right. I will definitely meet that person. I go to enough places. I'm all over the place, and I'm also open to relocating. As you know, I'm really putting that out there too, because I come back. Like, I just came from Pennsylvania the week before. I don't even remember. It's like I feel like a ping pong ball going back and forth over that Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel all the time, and it's like. I want to get up over on the other side. But and that again, I feel like that is going to present, well, I know when the time is right, because of everything that's going on, with the banks and the uncertainty. I just feel like this is, I call it the puddle jumper to my next destination, because when the time is right, it's going to present. And at the event I did last weekend, Sharon, I don't know her last name, awesome healer. She gave me she does like a Reiki combination, kind of similar to you. And she's like, we got to get you to Delaware. We got to get you to Delaware. And I was like, when the time is right, I'll get to Delaware if that's where I'm supposed to be. Because I'm not even putting like a I gotta be here kind of thing, because there's a part of me that would like to go back to New Jersey to be close to my grandkids. But if that is where I'm intended to be, I'm open. I think sometimes when we work on manifestation and attracting things in, sometimes we can block what is truly for us, because if we have just set on something. So I'm always like, this or something greater, your will, show me the way. I'm open, receptive to receive. And that's where I am right now with relationship and, where I'm supposed to be as far as living space goes. Yeah. Because everywhere I go, I feel like I'm at home, because I have my heart and myself, and that's home,
Yeah. Material things just don't matter anymore. Yeah. Except for with me and Danielle, it's crystals.
And I have quite a few, but I keep things kind of on the what did she say? I heard her yelling.
No, that wasn't her.
Did she yell in the background? Oh,
I didn't hear.
All right, somebody's talking to me. Yeah. But I've lightened my load because I'm ready to move in a heartbeat. I've always been like that. So no, not always. When I was raising my son, I was pretty much set. But yeah. So I really enjoyed what I got to hear, because I kept getting knocked off and blanked out. But I do know you, and I know a lot about you. I thank you for being on. And I was thinking that, I wish it went smoother. Danielle's show went real smooth. I don't know what happened here. Right. And I was thinking, in a couple of months when you and Danielle do some more stuff together, maybe we can have you both together.
Okay, that sounds good.
And that would be fun. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing you at, whatever next event we see each other at. I'm sure they're coming up. And I thank everybody for being here who's listening. I apologize again for the internet disruption, and I thank you for your patience. And it really stunk that we started so late, but it is what it is. It's supposed to be where we are, and the message got out there one way or another, and that's what's important, that we spread the energy and the love and the light out to the world and create that ripple effect. And you, Sherri, are doing a terrific job with that, and we appreciate you. And I thank you so very much. It was a pleasure to have you on my show.
And it was a pleasure being on the show.
Many blessings.
All right. Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.